Alright, part 3. Third time lucky. 3 puns. I can't think of anything, so I'm just gonna get into it. I don't know. Okay, so this stack of stuff is things from around the world loosely, is what I'm gonna call it. Because I'm not saying the world music, but it's more diverse, is what I will say. So the first one I picked up is the last missing Aktuala record I needed, called Terra. This came out on Blah Blah originally in the 70s, and this is a reissue of it. Really wonderful. It's really hard to describe what this is. A blend of world music instruments. That's a terrible description. Bongos, tablas, snake drums, timbre, harp, flutes, bells, harmonicas, oboe, Arabic oboe. All 3 Aktuala records are definitely worth listening to. I don't know if you need all 3 of them, but they're all really great. And I guess you would call it deep world music mixed with kind of some ambient sensibilities and times. Really beautiful. I think they're all really great. Aktuala Terra. Check this one out if you don't know it. The next one is related to Aktuala. The main guy behind Aktuala, called Walter Maioli. Almost forgotten his name. This is his project under Futura Antico. Now this is similar but not similar, because this is almost feels a lot more spacey, a lot more cosmic, a lot more ambient. Really wonderful. The other one had a lot more instruments going on, a lot more percussion, stuff like that. This is definitely if you're into sort of krautrock and kind of spacey kind of stuff, this is definitely in your wheelhouse. I really like it. I love the cover too. Futura Antico. This is a record that I listened to when it first came out, but it never kind of grabbed me. And then recently I was listening while on public transport, and it kind of blew me away. This is Tenderlonious with a group of people. God, I'm really losing my words. Anyway, it's called Nass at Peace, and the group are called Jalbi. And this is kind of like jazz mixed with Eastern rhythms and Eastern fusions, but it's really wonderful. It's really moody. It came out last year in 2020. A few people put it right up there on their end of year lists, which prompted me to kind of revisit it. Sorry for not doing enough research on this one, but yeah, it's a very spiritual jazz kind of sound mixed with lots of Eastern elements. Wonderful cover, so yeah, please do check that out. I really like it. There we go. Okay, this is a record that had been on my discogs and original pressing for years, because I really like the cover and I heard a few snippets online, and you know, it's thousands and thousands of dollars, so I was really happy to grab this reissue from, I think it's either this year or last year. The group of artists is called Nass Ghiwane. And it's basically traditional Sufi music from Morocco. The songs, from what I read, are based around folk stories and folk tales of that sort of music and that sort of time. Lots of percussion and deep mysticism. Really amazing singing using the throat to create some really unusual sounds. Yeah, I really like this record. I think it's fantastic, and the cover is absolutely wonderful. Look at that. So that is Nass Ghiwane. Fantastic. This is me making the thumbnail. Now, this is one that made the rounds a few years ago, and I finally grabbed it. Look at that for a trippy cover. This is Guilherme Coutinho and Grupo. Now, the tagline on the hype sticker for this is probably the best way to describe it, and it says lo-fi tropical, which is exactly what it is. Brazilian space age groove from singer, composer, and keyboard player Guilherme Coutinho. Ultra rare 1978 LP reissue for the first time worldwide. Brazilian space age on Mad About Records. Now, that should say everything. This is summery, this is funky, this is groovy. It is a lo-fi tropical space age Brazilian record. Say that. Lo-fi tropical Brazilian space age record. Oh, this is what my channel has become. It's just a groover. It's just a fun record. Yeah, check it out. This is obviously a reissue on Mad About Music. I think that's what they're called. Mad About Records. Yeah, please check it out. It's a bit of my want list since it came out, but for some reason the reissues are really expensive in this part of the world. But I found a reasonable copy in Melbourne. Really happy. Yeah, some really great keyboard playing. Okay, so what's happening? This is a record that Fred recommended to me while I was in Melbourne. I have no idea who it was, but this is something that I've been really loving. This is, the album is called An Improvisation Through Time and Space by the artist called Mindy, Meng, Wang. Now, it's on a series called Music in Exile, and I'm going to read you a bit about the label because I think it's fascinating. Music in Exile is a new initiative aimed at sharing stories of diaspora from around the world. We are interested in the movement of people across the world, be it by force or voluntary. Where are they going? Why do they move? How do they get there? Join us in uncovering some incredible stories of human resilience as we listen to the words and music of those around us. So, from what I gather, Mindy Meng Wang lives in Melbourne. Which is a Chinese-Australian composer and guzheng player. Born and trained in China, she studied Western musicology in the UK before emigrating to Australia. So she is playing, I guess you would call it traditional Chinese music with this guzheng, and it's really, really beautiful. Really gorgeous, really spacious. There's very minimal things going on. There's a couple of almost synth, really sort of background touches to it from memory. But yeah, I really thank Fred for switching me onto this. I've since researched a lot more about the label, and there's a few more releases by Mindy that I would really love to get hold of, so I'm going to try track those down. I kind of almost bought this purely on Fred describing it to me, and I'm so glad I did. Fred has a really interesting and really cool mantra of supporting local music to him, and you know, as almost like a something to buy something from my trip over there, I thought this was really fitting to get something that had been recommended to me as a memento of my trip, is what I should say. Yeah, really, really happy. Definitely, I don't have anything really like this in my collection, and it's really fantastic. So yeah, Mindy Meng Wang, Music in Exile. Really fantastic. The last one is a weird one, but I think it's fantastic. So, I'm sure a lot of you know Selda, and you will know that record that was reissued by Finders Keepers. Now, I found this in a record store, and I had trade credit. I was in Melbourne, and I had trade credit there. And it's probably more than I would pay for a record I didn't know. Obviously, I know Selda, I know the artist, but I saw this was from 1981, and the cover really put me off. And I thought, oh, what am I paying? You know, it's a lot of money. I looked at the condition, and it was really clean. Here you go, on the Türküola label. It's an original pressing from 1981, and I put it on in the store, and it immediately grabbed me, and I go, oh yeah, this hits all the Zelda things. It's got that really powerful rhythmic guitar. It sounds almost like proggy in parts. Her vocals are still slamming through. It's got grooves. It's 1981, but it's all there, and it sounds, I enjoy it. Do I enjoy it as much as this other Zelda record? Maybe. I think it's really worth checking out if you can find a copy. I know they're quite hard to find. But yeah, I'm really happy I grabbed this from 1981. Cool. All right, so that's part 3 done. Thank you again for watching. Stay tuned. We got one more, and then we'll be done. See you guys later. Thank you for watching. I appreciate all the love and all the comments.